This is my 1973 VW Bug. I got this back in December and I've been slowly working on it since. My goal is to rebuild the engine I got with it and get the body in good enough condition to drive all the way down to good old Chick-fil-A. So far you've seen me tear the engine apart, clean it up, and get it line bored. Sadly, the Bug has been sitting in my barn for a few weeks without any work done to it, but at least it's covered and out of the weather. I've been spending all my time working on the engine right here.
Anyways, today we're gonna seal the case together as well as put the pistons on.
Before we get into this, and since I'm here in Memphis, I took a drive down to Driven to see what I could get for my lifters. And I want to give a shout out to Kirk for helping me out and hooking me up with a bag of this GP1 assembly gel. Well, let's clean up a few parts and start getting this thing assembled. If you're using Permatex Aviation Sealer, you really don't need much of it. As being a first-time engine builder, I added too much, but also I don't want things to leak. However, adding too much can cause problems with it getting into oil passages, so take a look at where I put it and add a little bit less. Now that I have this case torqued and put together, I think it's time to clean up my workspace. I think it's important for me to take a few days and make things right. That's better. There's nothing like a nice, clean, organized space where you can come and work on your project. A place where you know where everything is so you don't get frustrated and want to pull out your hair. Now that that's done, let's see how well this spins. What the freaking heck? Well, I made a mistake. I didn't check the cam clearance before sealing this up. And I wanted to keep this in to say, if you're planning on rebuilding any engine, be patient. Don't be in such a hurry, otherwise you'll be in the same position as me. I spent a few days doing research hoping that I wouldn't have to split the case, but unfortunately I did. I slightly sanded the cam journal, made sure my cam wasn't warped, got myself the proper clearance on my thrust bearing. But after all that, I ended up calling Manfred, the Volkswagen mechanic, and he talked me through how to fix it. And he encouraged me that everything was going to be fine. Sometimes doing it twice is what you have to do to make it right. And it's funny because being impatient and rushing to get things done actually takes more time. Well, as long as I can learn from this mistake, and hey, maybe you can learn from me too. Well, let's see how it spins now. Smooth as butter. Well, I've got some new parts, and I've got some old parts cleaned up, so let's put it together. I did end up putting more aviation permatex on the back side of that paper gasket, so don't worry, I just didn't film it. And I put some black RTV around these threads. The kit that I bought came with lock nuts, and the ones that were on it were sealing nuts, so I wanted to make sure that it didn't leak any oil at all. Now let's clean up some more parts. While these are soaking in vinegar, let's go ahead and clean up some other parts. And if you're wanting to clean any magnesium like this, some advice for you, do not put it in vinegar because it will completely destroy it. After a few days of letting these sit, I'm going to scrub them up and get them all nice and clean. So as you can see, there's only 2 sizes and there's supposed to be 3. So good thing I have a parts engine, and I was able to snag the studs I needed from that and get them soaking in vinegar. I went ahead and got AA pistons. They are the 87 millimeter that will fit onto my case, and these are the old ones. The new ones are slightly bigger, and I'm not sure if the old ones are stock or not, but I'm sure someone could let me know in the comments. I tested the fitment of this, and I never mentioned that the rods that I got were CB Performance, just their stock OEM ones, and they are actually a little bit longer than stock, and because of that I am going to have to get spacers, and you will see why in a second. Now that I've got these cleaned up, I'm going to start assembling them and start to put them on the engine. And with having this style of oil cooler, I'm going to have to drill the mounting holes just a little bit bigger so that it can fit. So I'm actually going to wait to put the oil cooler on. I still want to clean it out a good bit with some brake clean and whatever other chemical I can find, because I obviously want to make sure that's completely clean before I put it on the engine, because I don't want to contaminate all the oil and potentially ruin the engine because of this oil cooler. I'm probably going to need to get a new distributor cap. I'm waiting to get the spacers for the cylinders to set the deck height, and I just got an email from JBug saying that they're back ordered, so there you go. The name of the channel is also changing to Belishapka Auto Builds and Experiments, BABE for short. The story behind Small Garage was that I actually was in a small one-car garage. And if you've kept up with any of my videos, you'll know that I sold the Rabbit and I'm no longer in a one-car garage. And I currently have a Volkswagen Bug. Not to say that I won't ever have a Rabbit again, but for now, this is what it is. So there you have it. Thank you to everyone that has supported the channel. And if you like these videos, subscribe for more.